Interesting post from the Free Speech Union here. When Sir Keir Starmer entered Downing Street last year, ministers delighted in proclaiming that grown-ups are back in charge. How times change. Now anyone who thinks the Online Safety Act might be a touch draconian, with few, if any, meaningful protections for lawful speech, is pro-diddler, or far-right, or both. Welcome to the world of grown-up politics. Indeed so, Toby. And I responded, this is true. I'm not an MP, so I insult people like a juvenile. And this government is at my level. Imagine that. If you disagree with them about their ridiculous demolition man-style legislation, the PM calls you Adolf, and the tech secretary says you want to suck Jimmy Savile off. This is how bad it's got. Our government are as grown up as a juvenile bootneck comedy YouTuber. That's how bad it's got. Anyway, I'll fill you in on the background of this tweet, because it is comical. Peter Kyle is the aforementioned tech secretary, and he said this: "These Online Safety Act protections are the biggest step forward in child safety since the internet was created." My words on BBC Breakfast this morning. Yes, obviously this lying little weasel, this human stoat, he's lying as usual. He's a Labour minister on the BBC, and the BBC's helping him lie. And he said today that the Online Safety Act protections are going to help protect children. And he even went as far as to basically call Farage exactly what most of the Labour Party are, which is a pedo shielder. So I'll explain their little spat in a moment. But before I get into it, let me just show you another story which is broken on the same day that this has, whereby Peter Kyle says the Labour government definitely isn't doing the totalitarian two-step. You know, selling you fear so you'll allow them to control your lives more. They're definitely not doing that, and they're mega concerned about child safety. Because on the same day that he said that, look what I saw on GB Politics. New, a 26-year-old migrant who entered the UK with child abuse videos on his phone gave a thumbs up after being spared jail. And there he is, loving life. No jail for a demonstrable child abuser. Brilliant that. Do you feel safe? Do you? I'm a 45-year-old bloke and I don't, because he's brought 40,000 of his mates in this year. And even I can't clasp my arse cheeks that tight. Right, so this story was covered by a lot of outfits. The Sun did the one with the least adverts on it, so I'll read you it. Brazen migrant who entered UK with grotesque child abuse images gives a thumbs up as he walks free from court. So we don't need to read the whole story, we just know what I've been telling you for years. It's problem, reaction, solution. They want to spy on you, force you to use digital currency, put CCTV everywhere, make you carry an ID card, basically monitor every single aspect of your life, right down to and including scanning your passport before you pull yourself off. Because it makes loads of sense, that, doesn't it? The UK is the only country where you need to consult a confusing spreadsheet in order to throw a tea bag or a banana skin in the bin. But they'll let 50,000 unvetted hairy-ass men in on a whim. That makes loads of sense, doesn't it? It's harder to have a wank than it is to get into the country. Think of that. Think of that. Anyway, so it's a lie. This isn't about protecting children. But let's listen to what the little weasel says. Because you can't tell me it's about protecting children when you've just let a bloke like this march into the country and you've spared him prison even though he's a demonstrable diddler.
This is the biggest step forward in child safety since the internet was created. There is, since Friday last week, children and parents will notice the difference in the experience that children have. Most children do not go looking for harmful and dangerous and pornographic content. Most children actually have found that the content has come to find them. That's why we've acted so decisively in this. And for everybody who's out there thinking of using VPNs, let me just say to you directly, verifying your age keeps a child safe, keeps children safe in our country. So let's just not try and find a way around. Just prove your age, make the internet safer for children, make it a better experience for everyone. That's surely what we should aspire to in this country.
There you go, what a little rat. What a little rat. Ban the VPN, don't ban the million foreign men coming in. Brilliant idea. Makes loads of sense. That's not what we should aspire to, you tin pot tyrant. It isn't. So after facilitating the mass diddling of tens of thousands of children, now he goes on telly and he has a pop at Farage. What did he say about him? Yeah, with the neck of 1,000 giraffes, he said if Jimmy Savile was alive, Farage would be on his side. Yeah. I've just read a story about South Yorkshire police, again, they keep popping up, giving one of the country's worst sex criminals a no arrest deal after he kidnapped a 14-year-old girl. Yeah, I just read that. And I read about a brazen nonce migrant getting looked after by the government and invited in and given a free house next to kids. And you want me to be worried about a VPN? What, can you get fingered through a VPN, can you? What am I too worried about them for?
I see that Nigel Farage is already saying that he's going to overturn these laws. So, we have people out there who are extreme pornographers, peddling hate, peddling violence. Nigel Farage is on their side. Make no mistake about it, if people like Jimmy Savile were alive today, he'll be perpetrating his crimes online. And Nigel Farage is saying that he's on their side.
I'm sorry.
Not the side of children who are...
I'm going to ask you to clarify. Do you honestly think to say Nigel Farage is on Jimmy Savile's side?
When it comes to online activity, we have seen unfettered access of adults to children via social media. When we put in the age verification, it stops strange adults getting in touch with children. So make no mistake.
This is a major leap. You're going to stick to the fact that you said that Nigel Farage is on Jimmy Savile's side.
Nigel Farage is on the side of turning the clock back.
Yeah, that's enough of that. So he's a weasel. The Online Safety Act come into effect on the 25th of July, right, just a few days ago. They say it's aimed at protecting children and not spying on you, but they keep inviting in unvetted men and housing them near children. Do the maths. If you think it's about child safety, you are as thick as two short planks. And then Kyle goes on Sky News and starts talking about Jimmy Savile to try and somehow guilt you into supporting it. Like, oh, I better support tyranny or else I'm a diddler. You aren't a diddler. You know who is? Half of the Houses of Parliament and the House of Lords. That's who is. People trying to guilt you into it, they're the ones covering for the diddlers. They're the ones who protect the diddlers. And now they have the brass neck to call a plumber from Leeds one, just because he doesn't want the government spying on him. This little rat here, this weasel of a man, is using any and all means to try and get you to sign off all of your hard-fought rights. I've mentioned it many, many times, the famous quote, yeah, it was Ben Franklin, not Thomas Jefferson, people who are willing to trade liberty for temporary safety receive neither. You'll get neither. This isn't about protecting children. If it was about protecting children, they would have imposed a ring of steel around the UK 2 decades ago. And Salman Abedi wouldn't have blew all them women and kids up. And 50,000 victims of grooming wouldn't have been silenced by the police and silenced by the authorities. And Gordon Brown wouldn't have sent a circular around saying, turn the other way, turn a blind eye, pretend it never happened. Not quite as good a job as turning a blind eye as that cycloptic frisp knobhead, but almost. The government was in on it. The Prime Minister was in on it. The Home Secretary was in on it. The House Lords and the House of Commons and the judges and the lawyers and the College of Policing and all the senior police officers were in on it. They helped them violate your children. And now they're trying to say, if you don't sign off on all these draconian laws so we can spy on you all the time, you're Jimmy Savile. No, I'm not. This is staggering hypocrisy. This is Warwick Davies calling Michael Jordan a short arse. This is Diane Abacus, the Abapotamus, calling Kate Moss fatty. This is Colonel Sanders telling me I eat too much fried chicken. The groomers, the diddlers, the nonces and the pedos get looked after by people like this necky prick here. So don't let them guilt you into it. Don't support the legislation. And if you even casually brush past one of these people in the street, tell them what you think of them. Honestly, I'd rather go on the piss with Bill Cosby for 12 hours than brush past this oxygen thief in the street. That's how low they are. Absolute creatures. Anyway, if you disagree, please let me know in the comments if you think he's a splendid fellow and you should feel guilty because senior politicians and police officers turned a blind eye to children getting diddled for 25 years. Please let me know in the comments. Yeah, it's nice to know I'm doing a favour for the mentally ill and, entertaining them in the lunatic asylums up and down the country. All right, that's me for today. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gents. See you all tomorrow. Toodle pip. Cheers.